Good afternoon, IT Nation. This is Sean Lardo. I am the ConnectWise Economy Evangelist. Thank you for tuning in again for yet another ConnectWise Invent Certified Integrator series. Today is a great episode for me. It's special to me because the two people that we're bringing on today, the two companies, were part of Maik, which I wore a shirt on purpose for this, were actual contestants this year in PitchIT. So we're going to get to know them in a minute. Before we do, though, I think it's important. I like to always reiterate the fact of what's important about the Certified Integrator program and the partners that are involved. Certified Integrators, in order to be part of this, for you MSPs that are listening, it is a way that these vendors get through our system to become bigger, much more involved with our ecosystem. Now they have to go through a series of being checked and certified. So we are essentially vetting them out for different things before you even see them. So when you're looking to shop and you're looking for stack alignment, you can go into the marketplace. You can click on if you're shopping for whatever it is, whether it's cybersecurity or it's QBRs. It doesn't really matter what you're looking for. You can actually click and look for them, and you can actually look at the certified integrators themselves. The important piece behind this is ConnectWise has vetted them all through doing security checks, making sure the integrations make sense, APIs and whatnot. Now, with that said, though, I don't want to take up too much time, but we are going to, because I want to get to these guys. But we are, during the course of this conversation today, we are going to announce, we had 3 PitchIT finalists that were announced earlier or actually last month in September, and we're going to announce who they were aligned with as far as their assignment for head coaches. That's coming out today publicly through ConnectWise Social. But we are going to talk about it here first too, so you guys get to hear about it before you see it. But without further ado, I do want to get the guys on and get started and talk about what their involvement is. We're going to start right now with my good friend Dave from DefensX. So let's get him up. What's up, Dave?
Not much. What's up with you?
I'm living the dream, buddy.
It looks like it.
Last time I saw you was a hotel as well.
And yes, again, here we are, another hotel.
I did say that this is a good episode for me to have because, having you be part of PitchIT, both of you being part of PitchIT is my baby. So it's great. But also, this is also the Canadian edition too, since
it is.
Both companies are, so I anticipate a lot of stories during the course of this conversation.
Always apologize. Always.
No matter what, even if there's nothing to apologize
no matter
for.
What. Even if I'm right, I still apologize.
I know. I've noticed. So let's talk about you, what you do in DefensX and what it does. All right. So let's start with you though. Who are you, Dave? Dave Maik a cake.
Thank you. That brings back childhood memories when I used to get made fun of at school. Yeah, exactly that. So I'm the channel director for DefensX. I look after all of North America. I am based in Canada, but I'm currently in the United States now. I spent a lot of time across the border. But I look after the channel. We run everything through the channel. So we're 100% channel focused, oriented. We do everything through our partners, and we will stay that way as far as, maybe time can see, at least at this point.
Awesome. Okay. So now what does DefensX do?
So in a nutshell, we are protecting at the browser level. So we are protecting where people and how people are browsing, basically protecting from malicious attacks through the browsing level. As we know, the landscape has changed and how hackers want to get in, and networks are pretty much completely locked down now through firewalls and everything else. Now they're going through the browser. Now they're coming down through phishing attacks and file downloads. These are the things that people get click happy on and essentially are infecting their computer, which obviously infects the company. And now we have this great thing called ransomware, which people are paying millions of dollars to get out of it.
That's the great thing?
Well, it's a great thing for us. Not good for the companies.
So is it safe to say things like ransomware are the reason why you guys even started doing this?
Correct. 100%. Yes. And because the landscapes change where the attack levels are coming from, you need protection on the endpoint. And COVID pushed a lot of people to be outside the walls of their corporate offices. So they are unprotected, virtually unprotected when they're at home, Starbucks, traveling like myself. They need to know you need to be able to be safe, right? And that's the key behind it. It's locking another door, essentially.
Got it. Okay. So, and you said you work with the partners only, which is good. That's good to hear. Most partners will love to hear this. Uh,
Yes, yes,
now, now the importance behind this for them is that you're never going to sell direct, so they're not. So clients can't find you and and buy directly from you at all. Which again, I'm not going to mention.
correct.
I was about to mention some names, but I'm not going to. So that's good. Now, how do you work with the partners exactly?
So we do have distribution partners. However, we work not only directly with the MSP, but with our distribution partners simultaneously. We introduce them to the companies that we might find at a show, which I'm at right now. So I push them through our partners. I help the MSPs. I work with our partners simultaneously, like I said, to make sure everybody's in the loop. We really want to handhold this. DefensX is a newer technology. There's a lot of features that are embedded here, and just even the smartest people in the world won't find all those features. So we want to make sure they're utilizing the product to its fullest. You're paying for something, you want to utilize all the features, and that's what we want to make sure everybody's doing.
Awesome. Now, there's always the conversation about people struggle with selling cybersecurity and positioning it, even though they know it's a necessity. Then we go to the fear mongering piece, right? Because that's what they go to. Like, you're going to lose your whole business if you don't do, right? So,
Right.
are you guys assisting them and helping them to understand how to position the conversation, how to market and sell it, essentially?
Absolutely. In fact, sat down at lunch today and talked to a few companies during lunch, and they asked me that very question: is how do I sell this?
Yeah.
So I had a pretty good answer, I would think.
Well, you have to keep us involved and let us post it and let us know if he becomes a partner and if he
I
starts
think you
selling.
will. To be honest with you, it was two of them, and they both asked for demos right after the lunch. So
All right. Well, congrats. We'll find out.
and 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 thanks to PitchIT for that, for being able to help me when I need to pitch very quickly.
I love it. Yeah. No, that, you know what? I'm like a proud dad moment. Hold on. Sorry.
I'm
Okay.
growing up, Sean. I'm growing up. I really am.
I know. Well, we were before we came on live. We talk about how you're growing up and how your photography skills have improved because the first picture you took with us was our I don't even have a forehead. I have all head, and somehow it
Right.
was still just my forehead and your forehead, and it was like we're not in the picture, Dave.
Well, I guess you've helped me in many ways then, not only in cybersecurity and getting my name out there in photography as well, because you've seen my posts now and they've improved, right?
I was about to say, I saw when you were at Can IT, I saw it, and I'm like, look at the picture, like he's in the picture, and there's other things in the picture, like, and I can see what he's doing. Like, I understand where he's at. It's not, Dave and ceiling tiles. Like, so I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
No, but good
Appreciate it.
job. I'm glad to hear that. I do expect you to keep us posted on what happens with those two guys.
Yes,
Like, so
absolutely. I will.
from this stream, you'll have to comment in it later, like, because it'll be on here forever. You have to comment like landed them. They're doing well. Maybe, that'll be perfect. So people can actually see it and it'll be time stamped. I wonder how long it took you to close them too.
Right, right, yeah. To be honest, mostly customers or MSPs that are downloading our free NFR licenses for trial, we see very short closure because once they get a chance to play around with it internally, set up some policies, they see the value and they're just now it's like, how do I get this out to my client? How do I put this into my stack? Well, how do I get that streamlined? And we see very quick adoption once they've understood what the product can do for them.
I I like that too. So we'll make this the last thing before we bring on the next guy.
Yeah.
Um, when working with them, how long is a turnaround for them to say from day one, I meet you, you demo, I love you, want to work with you? How long to actually me being in production using your product and understanding it and then being able to deliver it and also monetarily gain?
Right. So the quick answer to that is 5 minutes, because the product can be set up in 5 minutes into a
Yep.
monitor mode. So it's gathering information, and from there you can create policies with working with your client. So that's getting you data to be able to go, okay, here's the threat areas, here's the people that have very low scores or risk scores. So we need to protect them because they need to learn. But honestly, we sit down with an MSP and within, 2 hours, two separate phone calls, we kind of break it up into two. We do 1 hour, running them through all the kind of basics, if you want to call it that. And then a second one, just kind of going, okay, here's how you can really enhance your protection with your client.
Gotcha.
So really
Perfect.
2 hours.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So 2 hours, as long as they do what they're supposed to do. And then obviously a maturation process will take place on them learn how to just leverage it and then talking to you guys on how to better market and sell the actual offer itself.
100%. We're always here to help them too, right? We want to make sure they're successful. If they don't understand our product and they can't show their client the product properly, they're not going to like it, obviously. And that's what we want to make sure that the communication is always open. They can always ask questions. And the beauty of it, one last thing, because I know you want to bring on the other Canadian. Once they've set up one customer, they can use that as a global for all their customers they bring on. So it's a copy paste and away you go.
So repeatable, scalable. Perfect. That's a great segue into the other guy. Actually, look, he totally said. I mean, really,
oh my God.
You're like amazing.
Incredible.
I don't know what I would do without you in my life, Dave.
Do you remember me 6 months ago?
I do. I remember our conversation from before 6 months ago, actually, about it.
Right.
So
right.
I do. All right. So we're gonna kick you back in the green room. Hang tight. And we're gonna bring our next guy here. Up next. So thank you, Dave. I'll see you in a minute. Coming up next, another PitchIT contestant. Again, another Canadian. Crazy. With actually a cool name. Like every time I say your name, Trevor Thomas, I'm like, dude, you should be like on a video game or a rapper, or I don't even like. I'm not sure, but like, and then you have sleeves, which makes you even doper. So,
well, there was a Trevor in Grand Theft Auto 5, not Trevor Thomas, but there was a Trevor, if you remember.
Yes, I do, but the name is so good together. I feel like
I grew it myself.
I'm so proud of you too. I mean, it's a day of being proud parents across the board. I swear to God, it is. So, how you doing today, Trevor?
I'm good. It's good to see you're in good spirits. I thought you'd still be upset after ChannelCon when I first met you.
Oh no, you know what? ChannelCon was a long week, dude. Can we just talk about that for a second? Like it was like no sleep
for 4 days, right? And
yeah.
And the crazy part is there wasn't even that much booth time. So for vendors, it's not like you were stuck at your booth, but I feel like the walking is what got me, however many miles. I think one day I walked 25 kilometers, which in miles is like what, 4 or 5. So,
Oh yeah. Was that your first time in Vegas?
No, I've been to Vegas like 15 times and 14 of those for work.
Yeah. See, that's like, I've always been there for work. So I'm so used to that, but I'm not used to it. You think I'm lying? I'm not used to it. Nobody's used to it. I don't care what anybody says. You think you are, then you go, and then you realize you're not used to it.
Yeah. Well, again, it's the walking and the distance between things, right? So we just did CannITCon, and in Canada, I got to plug, the maple syrup. I thought we were going to.
Oh yes, I brought mine with me.
Yeah.
See, somebody did the homework. Dave, just pay attention. Somebody paid attention.
He couldn't get into the show. Yeah.
Whatever.
But it was like from my room to my booth was 5 minutes. It was perfect, not 15 minutes. And then, I forgot something in the room. Another 15 minutes back, another 15.
Dude, I take my backpack every time. Like I walk around my backpack the whole time because I know I need something, regardless. Yeah. Whether I remember or not, doesn't matter. I know I forgot it. Yeah. So, well, okay. So let's talk about you yourself. What do you do, Trevor?
So I'm the VP of sales at ZenContract. So my day-to-day is all sales driven, looking at the overall strategy, driving new inbounds, working the deals, closing them, reviewing all the metrics, and getting us out to kind of the greater channel.
Okay. And let's talk about ZenContract because, and this is good because Dave talked about repeatable, scalable processes. And I think that's literally the core of the bane of your existence also, right? So
not just us, but MSPs in general, right? So as the name kind of suggests, it's all about making your contract Zen, right? And so while I'm Canadian, the company was actually founded in New Zealand, as you know, by Greg Sharp. And he ran his own MSP, and they were looking at their operational maturity, and they're like, okay, how do we get this to a level where we can actually keep growing, right? How do we put in processes that allow us to scale more effectively? And one of the places they looked was their contracts, right? And they're like, okay, can't find this one. This one we're locked into for 3 years, and it's a losing contract. A sales guy missed a 0 on it. This one we missed the renewal. This one we can't find. This one we can't find, right? And they found out that like 70% of their contracts or their revenue wasn't on contract, right? Which means that 30% of their business could just go poof.
Right. Yeah.
So they built this as an internal working tool, and it's just really the fundamentals of, okay, let's make sure that you can find your contracts, the information is correct, and there's good margins on it, has just grown into this, 30 years of best practices and what not to do into an online platform that is, again, scalable, right? You templatize things, and then you make sure everything's good. It's integrated with ConnectWise, of course, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Perfect. And that we're going to get into that conversation too. So I'm glad you did. But let's go back to even the fact that the contracts and the effect of not having things on contract, but also messing up on zeros and you name it. How do you guys help to fix that, alleviate that pain?
Yeah. So let's say that MSP comes to us and they're like, okay, today we're doing things in a Word document, or we're using DocuSign. We take all your documents, we templatize them, right? We build them into our system so that they're, repeatable. We put permissions in. So let's say you've got a sales guy who likes to go change the SLA, right? From 24 hours, I'm going to change this so that I close this deal, right? Greedy salesperson, I'm one of them. So they change the SLA to be 24 minutes instead of 24 hours. You can lock it down so that they can't edit that, right?
Oh, nice.
Then you can pull in pricing right from the opportunity, or you can add line items that are directly pulling from the product catalog. So you know that it's going to be correct, right, from your product catalog. And then you can put an approval process. Hey, is it over a certain dollar threshold or under a certain profit margin, right? That kicks back to, maybe a user group of admin or single manager, whoever. And you can do this by user or by template, right? Okay, you screwed up on this. The margin's, 5%. We're not sending that one out, right?
Nice.
They go back.
So permission based at the user persona, or even minute detail of something that's locked down, they can't touch.
Prices, so like
stuff like that.
Yeah, so like a template. And a good use case for this would be, let's say that you bring on a new salesperson, right? And you've got a sales admin group. Well, until you're here for 6 months or a year and you're not making any mistakes, you stay on sales admin. Then you can graduate to sales, and then we change the permission thresholds for that approval process.
Got it. Okay. Yep. And then as far as you mentioned even about renewals and whatnot. So would they use you guys in conjunction with a QBR platform per se? Is it something that, because if they're going, again, QBRs are all about talking about what's up and coming, what's due, what's past due. There's new things you need to buy, whatever. So would you guys work in conjunction with us at integrating PSA-wise and QBR pieces to be able to have an automated aggregated report?
Yeah.
Also? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that there's a lot of the people that I speak with, they're like, well, we just auto renew, right? And we might have an increase clause of X% per year. Okay, that's all fine and dandy, but you're probably still leaving money on the table, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so we added this new EDR or XDR. They're going to do right by their customers, right? They're going to make sure that they're protected. But if you don't have those conversations in a QBR, TBR, whatever the acronym is today, then you don't have that opportunity to go to them and really sell that value, right? You're going to do right by them, but get paid for it and don't leave that money on the table.
I couldn't agree more. No, right. Well, I also think this falls in line with the presentation of things too. If there you go. Does this add to sell CPQ? That's a great question there.
Yeah, absolutely it does, Keith. So let's say that you have created a quote and sell, and that's going to push an opportunity into manage. We can pull that in. So when you send out, the finalized contract, it's got all the line items with the pricing on there. You can send it out and get it signed.
So coming back around though, to me, again, back to presentation and everything, it's like when you go to the doctor's the expert and tells you what you need to do. So you do it, right? You ever use a personal trainer? They tell you exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And because the way they present it, you're like, I need to listen to them. They know what they're doing. I believe QBRs are exactly the same thing. I think presentation is key to this. And the only way you can do it is if you have the information like this, and plus automated, because there's too many moving pieces. I think the average MSP uses over 15 to 20 plus 15 to 20 different technologies that they'll use, whether it's in their system to deliver services to customers or to resell to customers.
Yeah, either absolutely. Yeah.
So now you're bringing all that together, and it's a lot. So I love that. All right, cool. So we're gonna bring Dave on now so we can all talk smack.
Two Canadians at the same time.
Sorry.
My bad.
Perfect. That is perfect. Welcome back, Dave.
Thank you.
He said, you're welcome. So, okay. So,
oh my God.
I know, right?
One thing I have to mention, I was hanging out with Lee from your company last night, and I gave him some wise words, and I gave him a little bit of training in these shows because I know he's fairly new to it. I taught him how to drink at these shows so you're not hungover the next day.
Oh,
so he should be fresh today, really fresh.
I had an 8 a.m. meeting with him, and he seemed pretty on his game. You're gonna have to message me after and tell me the secret, because I just kind of power through and drink a lot of water.
Right.
That's part of the secret. And then like liquid IV, and yeah, exactly.
When in Vegas.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, all right. So yeah, aside from 2 Canadians, which is amazing, you know, it's a lot of feel goods, right? I feel warm and fuzzy inside. Like it's like I'm wearing like a blanket. But other than that though, you both were in PitchIT too, and you're both certified integrators. So like literally you've done all the you've gone through, you ran the gamut with me so far.
Yeah.
So Dave, I'll start with you. How do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like raw and chafed, or do you feel like vibrant?
No, it's great. In fact, it's exciting because just from the start of PitchIT to basically September, although we didn't get picked as a finalist, the ramp up of our product, which I have to contribute to being a lot to do with PitchIT because of a lot of free exposure. I mean, we're doing shows and that, and it's great, but I really think PitchIT gave us a lot of exposure, and it's one of the reasons we're seeing a nice ramp happening right now.
Awesome. That's good. I'm glad there, you know, that I feel like when you're a startup company and you're coming out of the gate, you have an idea what you're trying to solve for, right? But it morphs into, once you get it into the wild, right? And I think that then you get into reactive mode a lot of times and catch up, that you don't get a chance to actually to sit back and say, all right, now how do I fix this? Now that I know these things, how do I take these things I learned and where I started and bring them together into A, messaging, B, how we approach, C, how do we enable people and get them onboarded or anything? Because, you know, velocity is key, right? So
yeah, absolutely.
Trevor, how do you feel since all this? Because you guys have come through a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to parrot the same thing, but I will say, like, yeah, absolutely, the exposure has been great. But even further to that, just the connections we've made with the other participants in PitchIT, right? Mm-hmm. So Dave and I were sitting out in beautiful Banff last week and having a beer, and I connect with quite a few of the other contestants, and I'm not chafed at all that we didn't make the finals. You know, we're still going to be at IT Nation, and the experience was worth it. You know, it's a big time commitment, as you know, but it's still totally worth it, right? All the different guest speakers that came in and the knowledge that we took away from it just made us stronger.
Perfect. Good. And okay. And again, it's not just about PitchIT either. It's about the reinvestment from you guys of time, money, everything, right? So that's why, and so the certified integrator program and the Invent certified integrators, how do you guys feel about that process? Because it is tedious. It's serious. And you got to go through it. And we're doing it for you guys and for the partners. So Trevor, how's that going? How does it go for you guys?
So, I mean, on my side of things, that's mostly DevOps, right? So
right.
I can't even say that I'm overseeing it. I have visibility on it. And
do they yell at you? Do they yell at you and cuss about it?
No, other way around. I'm like, go faster. No, they're good. And the event team is awesome to work with, right? Because there's a lot of, integration partners that you can work with. And sometimes you're left to your own devices. And sometimes if you can't figure something out, you're just kind of SOL, right? Whereas Invent, Aubrey's been fantastic to work with, Sherpa-ing us along. Is that a word?
Yeah,
weird contraction.
It is weird though. I mean, Sherpa, people love that word.
Yeah, right.
If you talk to Tony Thomas here, he'll love Trevor Thomas. Oh my God, it makes sense. He loves the word Sherpa. He'll use it everywhere.
Surprise! I'm actually Tony.
You guys couldn't be polar opposite. The guy, Tony's like the sharpest dressed dude as far as like professional, like highly polished dress shoes, dress pants, dress shirt, always clean shaven, always. Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up to you, Sean.
If I can blow you out of the water whenever you're ready. I have been trimming it. I've been keeping it tight. So yeah, no. So I'm glad to hear that, because like obviously is good, and the Invent team is very good about this. And people don't realize how much goes into it from you guys.
Yeah, there is a lot, but again, I think there's equal amounts effort on our part and on the Invent team, and the support that meets you halfway.
Yep. I would agree.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And again, the importance to this is that you guys get to be more invested in the ecosystem, in this community, and the community gets to see you guys exist, and they can start to trust you more. Not that you weren't trustworthy in the first place, but sometimes it comes down to the position of, authority, and a company 2 years in the business that nobody really knows yet, or 5 years that nobody knows yet, compared to, one of the core staple companies, anchor companies of the space. It changes everything.
And it's that T part that you're exactly right. They might know me because I'm on a lot of these, or Greg is. They might like me because I make funny jokes and Canadian, apologize a lot. That trust factor. I'm in sales. I don't know. This is the only guy I know, right? So that the certified stamp on there, I'm really looking forward to getting in the next week or two here.
Absolutely. And Dave, and you guys are going through? You're about done. Has anybody been cussing out and like, what the hell are we doing? This is hard.
Like Trevor, I'm not smart enough to be involved in getting it all done. So we brilliant people on this. But yeah, it's obviously a lot of work, and I'm like Trevor. I'm like pushing them. I'm like, let's get this done. We got to get it done before IT Nation, and we're going to be done. I think I'm 1 or 2 weeks away as well. I think there is one like little final thing that they're working on, but essentially it's working, and the tests went well and approved. But I like what you said. I think, when you talk to clients or potential MSPs to buy our product, they're like, hey, are you certified with this or certified with that? And you're like, no, not yet. And they're like, oh, okay, we'll come back to you when you're ready. We almost feel like you're not ready yet for the market type of thing. That's kind of the feeling I get. But, the minute you're saying you're in this, or you're doing SOC 2 or whatever the case may be, ConnectWise Invent, they're like, oh, beautiful. Okay, that's great. Now I'm ready. This is great. You're a real thing. You're a real person. You're a real company. So yeah, it just puts you on a little bit of a different shelf than when you don't have these certifications.
Absolutely. Agreed. I think also one thing that a lot of vendors I talked to, the importance about it for them was it also made them aware of things that they didn't account for prior to, because for us, the primary mission for us is to be able to have an ecosystem that uses these MSPs are using our stuff, and you guys have to play nice with us in this for business continuity's sake. They're already back to the 15 to 20 plus vendors are using. If we can eliminate some of the friction, that's the goal, and keep them running and keep them. I mean, even for the fact of the matter is, you're looking to help them sell cybersecurity stuff, right? And so if they're busy doing all this other stuff, they can't go do that, and therefore there's no revenue gain. And for the ZenContract, literally, that's what this does. If they're busy doing all this stuff, they can't sign out contracts. They can't even use the product. So now you're rendered obsolete. All of us are rendered obsolete if there's too much friction.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and it's at the beginning was when you're talking to dev people, they don't understand what's going on the ground floor in the channel at these shows, what people are asking for, what MSPs are asking for. And when you go to them and they're like, really, we have to do this? I don't have really the time. We want to put more features in the product. Once they get rolling, they're like, yeah, now I get it. I see why we're doing this. So they see the value for sure.
How many times have you guys had conversations with the founder of the company and the tech team of their development team that like, we need to add more features because they think that's the answer?
All the time. And I don't know, I look at it, economy of scale side of things, where I'm like, if we can get onto the largest vendors marketplace, that by proxy should just make us grow, right? Similar to PitchIT, we're getting all this exposure. Well, now we get even better exposure, right? And I think, maybe I'm a bit naive on that side of things, where I'm like, just do it. It can't take you that long. It's just a couple typing lines, you're fine.
That's where the smarts come in, right? You're not so smart about it.
I'm like, what else do you have better to do? It's
exactly.
And it's not that it's what you said is true and untrue at the same time, right? Because who knows how long it takes to do things. But sometimes features are built because startup companies are chasing, and they start building features just to get a deal. And sometimes the deal doesn't make sense. It doesn't become so back to exactly what you both stand for, which is a repeatable, scalable process to grow. And you take away from that when you start to just chase, right? And so I've had that conversation. I've been part of many startups, and I've had to literally talk about, I don't understand what that does. What does that do for us to do that? Like that? Why? And I've also been the culprit of it too. Let's be honest. I was a sales guy forever. And I'm like, we should do this because it'll get me the deal. And the CTO and the CIO, and I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I'm like, no, it's ingenious. Let me tell you all. And they're like, that is stupid.
Right.
So yeah, I know, I get it. So all right, now, well, first, anything else you guys want to add about integrated or ecosystem or community? Because you're both now become a huge part of it over the last 5 months. So, Trevor, I can start with you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, aside from just the overall the back and forth and the niceties and the fact that we're getting so much support, it's really driving our integration to a next level, right? And a good example of that is being able to pull in, you know, Sell creates an opportunity and being able to pull that in. But something that we realized that can play really nice is automatically creating agreements, right? So on that time saver side of things, and you don't have to go back and manually do things, we built that in because we realized it was possible and not that much legwork for us. And again, we got support from the event program, right? So it's just making that whole piece of our business so much more robust. And at the end of the day, it's just going to deliver so much more value for our MSPs.
Awesome. Dave?
Yeah, it really, you know, coming into this as a startup, this is a huge industry, right? I mean, this is massive. I mean, if you really wanted to go to shows, you could be on the road for 52 weeks of the year. However, you got to be smart about what you do. Right. And, you know, you listen to your customers and they kind of point you to the right direction, right? And this was one of them. The question came up enough times that you have to dive into it, and it's important for sure. And, you know, learning and you've been great. I mean, you got me into PitchIT. You told me about PitchIT. You told me about Invent. And that's why we did it, because when you told me about it and then I researched it and looked into it, I was like, yeah, this is something we got to do. And our customers are asking for it. It's important, you know. Absolutely. So just down the line, it's going to help us. It's rounding us out. It's completing us as a company, as a product.
Oh my God, it's like, you complete me.
Oh, can I do that? Yeah.
I mean,
that's so Taylor Swift.
She's not Canadian, I don't think so. Again,
no, she's not. No.
But, I mean, you know, she's kind of a rock star. She's kind of like she's kind of a big deal.
Did you hear about the viewership for the last game?
Oh God, no! I'm sure it's ridiculous.
It was peak. Like the highest ranked game since the Super Bowl, because of her being there, and it drove female viewership. No, I'm not kidding.
My daughter
dropped the stats.
23 years old, could care less about football. Guess what she was doing on the weekend? Watching the game.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wanted to see how many times she could see her.
Well, by the way, we have a private chat for those that don't know on StreamYard. There's a private chat. In the back in the private chat, Jess, our social media manager, is running this. Thank you, Jess. Just said that she's taken that screenshot of us doing the heart. That'll be the thumbnail for this stream, which I don't disagree with.
That's awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and Brandy, I don't know if
Canadian
Brandy, don't brag about Beebs. Nobody's bragging about Beebs in Canada. Nobody's like,
I'm not, anyways. Buble, yes.
Buble, yes. Okay, we'll go with Buble. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. But Buble kind of just remade songs. He really didn't make his own songs. Like,
but he did.
I mean, I like him.
Great. Yeah.
He's a feel good. You watch him, you're always happy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
And he's a funny guy in commercials.
Oh, well, we don't see him in commercials here.
No, because he's pushing a Canadian product. That's why you don't see him.
That's fine. Is it like maple syrup? Because I would watch it.
Yeah.
Canadian maple syrup is phenomenal. So okay, and back to you, even Dave, real quick, and then we'll move on. Yeah, when you and I first met, thanks to Kendi, because Kendi's the one that introduced us, right? And and she said, I think they'd be a good fit. And so we started talking about it. And you and I had like a good hour-long conversation on where to invest and what to do, you know, and back to being gone 52 weeks. Absolutely, you can be, but to what end? You know, exactly. It is a law of diminishing returns. And so that's a big part. You know, obviously ConnectWise talks about IT Nation and community, and you guys will both be at IT Nation Connect.
Correct.
I know. That's super stoked about that. And
no kidding. I'm excited.
And Dave, Dave's going to one up you right now, Trevor. Sorry. He's about to one up you, I must say. You not only did you sponsor a booth, but you have another sponsorship too. Correct?
At Connect, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about it, or I want to talk about it?
either or, but I want to say that we were hoping for the perfect storm to occur, which would have made us one of the finalists, and we teamed up with last year's winner of PitchIT. So it didn't quite work out that way, but it's a great partnership. In fact, we're like good buddies now, us and Alert Ops. But you go ahead if you want to tell them what I'm doing there. That's
yeah, Trevor. So Trevor, there's still open sponsorships available. Don't worry, I'll send them to you anyway.
Please do.
It's a good tag, right? As a nice good plug for that shamelessly. So yeah, you guys have decided to sponsor. You and Alert Ops decided to co-sponsor the key cards this year.
Correct. Yeah.
And I saw the design. It looks dope. I'm excited.
It does. Yes.
Yeah. So again, back to reinvestment and investing into the community and get people to know who you are. I think that's a big deal. It's extremely important.
Yeah, it is. And, some of that stuff is sometimes hard to understand if, what you get from it, right? Because sometimes a key card may not directly go into, someone downloaded our demo, but it's that, I always see it as it's a commercial, right? When you're watching commercials on TV, you see a commercial the first time, you're like, and then you see it 4, 5, 6, 20 times, you're like, yeah, maybe I'm going to try that product. And that's what it takes. It takes to be, you're a banner, you're trying to, get that into people, and eventually they go, hey, this is good stuff. I got to try it out.
I mean, again, think about, we just talked about Taylor Swift at the game. They kept showing her all these people watched it for her. They keep showing her, and especially on Monday night, and Aaron Rodgers, right? They kept showing both. Why? Repetition. Just waiting to see. Honestly, what's Taylor Swift doing now? She's still up in the booth. Right. She's still just celebrating. She's still making a face. Oh my God, how many receptions is he going to throw today? So yes, all that was happening. But and Taylor Swift probably doesn't even know what she's even looking at. Cause I don't know that she was even a football fan before this. Like she never talked about it. So maybe she is, we don't know, but she never talked about it.
Apparently, her other boyfriend was from England, and apparently she liked to watch rugby. So I think that was just because it was her boyfriend. But now it's football.
Well, now it's whatever. Hey, you know what? Viewership went up, so that's good. So
there you go.
Now let's segue over to talking back about PitchIT, and let's talk smack on people. So I believe the post went out during our just shortly ago, but about we aligned. So the vendors the finalists, we had 3 finalists, and they got paired up with head coaches, which were the head coaches were previous winners, or even in Calendar, who's the creator of PitchIT. So these are people that know exactly what they're doing. These head coaches are going to mentor them. And actually the link to the post is in the comments. So if you guys want to see who it is, I'm going to say who it is anyway, but it has been announced. So, and I'm going to ask you guys your opinion in a minute too. And I expect a really good opinion too, not some stories. Okay. So the 3 finalists were Thread, VCIO Toolbox, and Nodeware. And the head coaches, Callan Sapien, Cam from Alert Ops, Adam Walter from Humanize It, right? And so it went really well, actually, I feel like. And by the way, this was a random pick. We did not assign them to any reason other than we actually have we literally spun a wheel, and whoever landed on, that's who they got, because that way there's no way of being biased. And so with that, the Nodeware was assigned to, oh my God, I got to
pull up the post for you.
I got to pull up the post. Yeah, pull up the post for me. Golly. It was Thread went to Cam and Alert Ops. Yeah, I knew that. VCIO Toolbox went to Callan Sapien, and Nodeware went to Adam Walter from Humanize It. So first off, I thank them all for donating time, because they are donating time to do this. Nobody's paid for this, literally. Everybody, which is weird. Everybody's
except for you.
Yes, me. Absolutely. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's talk about the real question. What the real question is, who do you think is going to win? Dave, I'll start with you.
Oh God, I didn't want to be first.
You looked uncomfortable. That's why I did. If you wouldn't have made that face, it would have been a crap.
Yeah. Oh my God. I think I do have maybe my favorite based on the pitches I heard, because I did listen to all of them. Mm-hmm. And I actually, in my head, I had them as the final 3. So I will throw out Nodeware there right now.
Nodeware, yeah.
All right. However, I spent some time with Thread yesterday at the show, and I brought my biggest Canadian client to them, MSP. And after they talked to them, they walked away and said, wow, like this is awesome. So.
Well, all right. So, well, you didn't really answer. You're literally you're not really giving an answer.
It's because I'm Canadian. I can't do it. I can't.
So basically, Brian Doyle, you're out from BCI Toolbox. Sorry, you're not even part of this conversation.
Oh, I know, and such a great guy too. But I'm only going on what the knowledge I have, which is not a lot, by the way.
That's such a cop out. That's such a cop out. Fine.
Over to Trevor. Over to Trevor.
Trevor, what do you think?
Okay, let me just preface this with sorry. I also watched all the pitches and they were awesome. But I've got to go with Thread. I loved Bobby's presentation. He's such a character. Right. And again, limited knowledge on the product side of things. I know what I heard. It's not like I've been digging in and researching their products for hours and hours. They all look like they have great products. But if we're just going on costumes and personality, like Bobby knocked it out of the park. So Brian, Matt, I apologize again. Sorry. That's 3 apologies, just so you know. That's the standard for Canadians. You have to apologize 3 times. But Bobby in his pirate costume.
Yeah. However, just to add to that, really everybody in PitchIT is a winner, right? I mean, we all got gain out of this, like just the exposure and what we learned and the people we met.
I just like that Trevor said the standard is 3 apologies. It's the requirement.
Look it up in the Canadian handbook. It is 3 apologies. And you're supposed to mix it up like, sorry, I apologize, my condolences. Like,
there you go.
You got to throw the variety of sorries in there. Or if you're my better half, you say sorry. If you ever talked with Desiree in person, I'm sure you've heard her say it like that.
I have. I feel like it's not real. I think it's sass.
It is.
Or it's really sad sorry.
I think it depends on when you catch her. If maybe you're at the lobby bar late at night, it is sorry.
Like whatevs. But if it's the daytime, she feels really rough. It's really sorry. I need to go lay down. My head hurts or whatever. Or did I say something stupid last night? I really mean it right now. So yes,
Brandy nailed it. She's like with A at the end, and I think that I don't think that many Americans realize this, but there was a bunch of Americans at the show we were at in Banff, and they're like, "This is a real thing. You guys do say A all of the time," and we don't. I don't realize it. Like I was traveling one year in Thailand, and everyone thought I was an American until they heard me talk for 15 minutes, and they're like, "Oh, you are Canadian. You said A 55 times." I'm like, "Yeah, the standard. So three sorries, and then every 15 minutes you have to have a minimum of 50 A's. It's just I don't make the rules. I just read the handbook."
Yeah.
Hey, I understand. I'm in Pittsburgh, and we have our own stuff. So there's actual Pittsburghese dictionary. So, yeah. All right. So we're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Before we do, if everybody looks below there, we put the link. We're still, still time to register for the event. IT Nation, ITN Social 50 gets you $50 off. And then this is the link right here to register for it. So if you're still wanting to go, and if you're not wanting to go, there's something wrong with you, I feel like, but whatever. Ain't no friend of mine. No, you probably are a friend of mine. But yeah, you'll be missing out on a good thing because last year IT Nation was great. The IT Nation thing was great. Last year was big, and it was during a hurricane, and we still had over 4,000 people there. So what's that tell you? Like, I was like, oh my God, there's a hurricane coming through. Good thing we're in this resort with food and booze for the next 3 days.
That's right.
So, yep, November 8th. Just so you guys know, the IT Nation, or rather PitchIT live happens for the finals on November 8th at 3 p.m. Eastern. So if you want to come see them, I'm sure you guys will be around for that. So you can meet them there, you guys and the finalists. So everybody make sure they come check that out. And other than that, any final words? Dave, I'll let you go first.
Thank you. Thank you for all your support and everything. And specifically, I can remember the day we talked. I believe it was November 2022.
It was
somewhere in there. And that was, with a conversation that definitely helped us, because we started looking at these things you talked about. You actually helped me as well understand a little bit of the landscape of all the other shows, not just your own, ConnectWise stuff. So you were pretty upfront of, what type of things you've seen in your years in this industry. So I just want to say thank you. It's much appreciated, and thank everybody from ConnectWise. It's been great.
Absolutely. Thank you. Actually, you've been a great advocate for us, and we've got to hang out in Chicago at ASCII, which was really fun. And that's back to bad forehead pictures. But anyway, moving on. We've moved on from this. We progressed. So, Trevor, anything from you, man?
This time I am going to parrot what Dave said. Thank you. Thank all of ConnectWise. Sean, the witty banter, well, my witty banter and you talking. All of that is much appreciated. Thank you for including us in all of these events. If you ever want us back on any of these, please send out an invite. I'm happy to oblige.
Not a problem. Absolutely. We, obviously, to be able to spread the word and get more things going is always important. So we love when people are contributing. All right. So again, everybody, we put a bunch of links as we went through. They're also in the chat for everybody that wants to get anything, whether it's see who the results are for the head coach's assignment, also along with being able to get the IT Nation social discount for $50 off to come to the event. Also, we talked about a lot. So thank you guys. Appreciate it. If you guys need anything else, we'll all be around. I believe we'll be doing these episodes every single week, and I'll see you guys at Connect.
Can't wait.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.